Hey there, this is Rissa, and here is the recap video for the Words of Affirmation workshop at Nava Yoga Studio for couples Thai massage. We started out with our partner supine, face up, and we worked on the legs and low leg and foot. We're going to start out kneeling next to our partner and now turn to face away from them. With your hand that's closer to their feet, I want you to scoop under the ankle, rise up. Now scoot your calves underneath their hamstrings, underneath the back of their thigh. Place the foot down, make sure you clear the knee and you're below the hip, and now sink down nice and slow. So, is that okay? Mm-hmm. So it's not my sits bones that are on her thigh. It's the back of my thighs and kind of vicing both the front and back of her leg in between my legs. Okay. So we did this a few times, rising and sinking, maybe 30 seconds or more, depending what's comfortable for you and for your partner. You might feel their pulse, that's okay. If your partner has high blood pressure, then just don't stay as long. Just do it very lightly, okay? Not as aggressive. Next, we're going to focus on the attachment point just below the front hip bone. Bring your hand just below the front hip bone, rise up, and now imagine a straight line from the middle of your belly down into your hand. So I'm leaning to the side and sinking my weight into my hand. There's some contact below my thighs, but the pressure is really at the hand. So do this about 3 times, maybe more, just to target any tension there. Shifting slightly with each repositioning. Be sure to lock and sink and then rise out of it. If you lock and sink into the depth, don't move around at that depth. You always rise out of it before you reposition. So maybe 3 to 5 points of compression below the front hip bone. And now another broad compression at the quad, at the top of the thigh. Lean forward, pour weight into your hands or fingertips, and slide down. Remember, your partner can play dead and just relax. Be sure you clear the knee and have the partner's calf rest on the back of your calves. Sink down and back. Keep the hands down first as you sink your hips towards your heels. Many of our calves are very sensitive just from chronic tension, but also standing and walking a lot. Or if you're a runner, of course. The more, and I'm taking some pressure off because I know this is sensitive for her, but the more you bring your head back over your tailbone, the more weight is going to sink down because your head's pretty heavy. So with your hands down, you have more control. You can always look at your partner and ask them how it feels. I'm going to move down slightly, sink into a new spot. Good job breathing. And now I am all the way down at her Achilles tendon. So my legs are together. This is often a sensitive spot, so be reassuring. I'm going to curl her toes down and then grab the bottom of her foot, the ball of her foot, and flex her foot up. I'm going to keep moving like this, flossing her Achilles tendon and the fibers of her soleus muscle in between the compression from my legs. So when you're done, lean weight forward into your hands, lean your chest forward, grab the side of the leg and the side of the heel, and just push the leg off behind you, kind of onto your feet and toes, and then remove yourself from the situation and give the leg a little jostle. So to begin, sit at your partner's feet. I like to do this with straight legs. Just bring your partner's whole leg, low leg, onto your lap. Cup the bottom of the heel, and with your second hand, push the ball of the foot forward, lean out to the side, curl the toes down, and lean back. We're making a circle. Lean in, push the foot forward, lean out, lean back, curl the toes down. You can make it pretty fluid, and be sure to circle in both directions. In, back, out, forward. So after you do your circles, and just gently push the ball of the foot forward as you lean, flexing. Now, heel of hand on top of the toe knuckles, elbows high. Elbow comes down as you lean back to point the foot. Now we're going to invert. So I'm going to bring my forearm in front of the foot and then squeeze the ball of the foot between my forefingers and my palm and gently turn away. Second hand position just below the ball of the foot at the arch of the foot. Same thing, squeeze and gently turn. Third hand position toward the heel, squeeze and turn. My finger pads are gliding along the bottom of the foot. Sometimes that happens. Return to the second hand position just below the ball of the foot along the arch, squeeze and turn. And then to the first hand position, squeeze at the ball of the foot and turn. Switch hands. Now we're going to evert. Squeeze at the ball of the foot where it meets the pinky toe, just below the pinky toe. Pull the elbow. You won't get as much range of motion turning this way. Second hand position along the knife edge of the foot, below the ball of the foot, squeeze and turn. Third hand position, knife edge of the foot just above the heel, squeeze and turn. Return to the second hand position, and then to the first. Release the foot entirely. Now I'm going to use both pads of my thumbs up the bottom of the foot. So trace 2 lines 3 times, and they can be slightly different each time. I'm tracing all the way up to the ball of the foot and feathering off at the toes, feeling for any dense spots, any spots where there's tension. You could even squeeze and hold there until you feel some softening. Notice how I'm gently rocking, using power from my core to transfer pressure into the bottom of the foot. After your third time, we're going to drag up the outer edge of the foot. In order to do that, elbow high, my palm faces me, my thumb comes to the inside of the foot for counter pressure, and I'm going to drag up, inch at a time, really dragging up the skin on the outer side of the foot all the way to the pinky toe. When I get to the pinky toe, switch to a pinch between thumb and knuckle of the index finger, and move the knuckles around as you glide down the skin. Pinch at the toenail and snap off. Do it at the 4th toe. Pinch at the base of the toe up past the knuckles, pinch at the nail and snap off. Each toe one at a time. Sometimes there are pops, sometimes there aren't. We're just creating movement within the joints, these little joints. After you snap off at the big toe, place the foot down beside you. Next, we worked the low back and hip. So have your partner turn over to lie face down and bring their knee out to the side. Scoot yourself so that you're facing the same direction as your partner's feet. I like to sit with my hip close to my partner. This other leg can do whatever you want. I like this kind of staggered side-sitting position. I'm going to bring my forearm in between the sacrum and the outer hip bone, right into the gluteal muscles. Other hand can place down on their leg just for comfort. Be sure to lock into a position and then sink. You can do this from facing toward your partner's feet or facing toward your partner's head. Can't really see what I'm doing here, but I'm using my opposite forearm to get a slightly different angle on the glutes. Just play whatever feels good. Your body and your partner's body are like moving puzzles. So don't hesitate to shift into a different position. Sometimes I come up to a kneeling position to get more height. Something like this. So I can really pour the weight from my head and upper body down into my point of contact. Just to point to this area, here's the rib cage, here is the top of the pelvis. I'm going to lock and sink right in between, and not where it's soft at the waist, but in closer to the spine. There's a bunch of muscles there, and that's where we're going to lock and sink. So this staggered seated formation facing toward my partner's head, in between rib cage and pelvis, right at the QL and erector muscles. We're also getting some of the lats and the obliques here too. You can reposition a few times. Stay as long as your partner likes. Use as much depth as your partner likes. So ask and communicate. And remember, we're working on words of affirmation. So partner who's receiving, ask for what you want with directness and with affirmation. For more depth, just lean your head over the point of contact a bit more. Slowly rise out of the depth of the pressure. And that's all we did for our Words of Affirmation workshop for date night couples Thai massage at Nava Yoga Studio. Thanks for watching.